Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between ZeeRax and Frequency here on Desert Oasis. Frequency, I believe, plays random, so this is going to be Protoss versus random in the eyes of ZeeRax. Yeah, ZeeRax saying you play random, and Frequency goes, yeah, so it is going to be Terran versus Protoss, but it's really going to be Protoss versus random for ZeeRax, so we'll see how ZeeRax changes up his strategy on this particular map. Now, Frequency, and we'll see what he decides to do with this particular build. If he queues up another SCV, that means that he will not be opening up with a Reaper harassment. Nope. Trains up another SCV, will not be doing a Reaper harassment. Perhaps he'll try to do something else. A lot of Protoss players now pretty much instinctively know to get that early Stalker in order to push back any sort of early Reaper harassment. That early Reaper does allow a Terran player to perhaps get 3 or 4 kills, kill that early Zealot if it is in fact there, and then be able to get an earlier tech lab and perhaps get an earlier orbital command as well. As long as he's able to equalize that economic advantage or economic loss, he'll be a little bit higher in tech. SCV gonna go ahead and pass by that probe, so Pepping just giving a quick zap in to the SCV as that SCV continues to move on out of there. Now the Nexus gonna go ahead and start chrono boosting for those probes, going for a rather late Nexus, going for 14 Nexus as opposed to a 12, wanting to get that economic advantage instead. And now gonna go ahead and head up that ramp, see that there is in fact a barracks being built down, no gas yet. So no gas, does not have to worry about getting an earlier Stalker in this instance. Gas finally going down, so perhaps he will have to worry about some Reapers. Spoke too soon. However, SCV now coming around the corner. Perhaps that SCV will be able to try to block that Vespene geyser. Oh, very nicely done. Passing through the walking of that single pylon. That pylon was in fact cancelled for just a moment. ZeeRax now getting that gateway up. No cybernetics core is to be seen yet, and no tech lab. So Frequency going for Marines earlier, and now getting that orbital command as well. So Frequency opening up for a more turtle strategy. Now that SCV gonna go ahead and very nicely try to deny that refinery, so that refinery now getting taken down. Cybernetics core now being built, or so we will have one Zealot and then eventually some Stalkers. Still surprised that there is no additional tech lab yet. So no tech lab. I'm wondering what exactly Frequency is spending all of his minerals on. Just looks like he's spending most of his minerals on money. Let me check what he is doing. Yeah, he spent 900 minerals on economy and 150 on technology, 250 on army. But that 250 on army is most likely that orbital command center. Yeah, and 1 marine. Yeah, so it's going to be that orbital command center over there. I really hope that they fix the unit overlay so that orbital command centers do not count towards that army build, because it's not really part of an army. Marine's now going to go ahead and try to chase down that probe down to 8 shields, but it's going to quickly start regenerating once again. And Frequency might try to go for a 3-Rax build. A 3-Rax build, Marines, Marauders, and perhaps some Ghosts, since he is playing against a Protoss player. Stargate of ZeeRax, however, being built to the north side of his base, and that will be difficult to spot for any scouting unit. SCV down over here by the Xel'Naga Watchtower, trying to intercept any units that are coming through. A single probe still running through the rest of the base, as now a single tech lab now being produced and a Ghost Academy. So it is going to be a Ghost Academy. Frequency sitting on a lot of gas. A little bit curious about that particular move. Perhaps he's going to start researching some additional stuff, and now building a barracks in the middle of the field as well. So Frequency going for a pretty gutsy move. Don't know why he didn't build the barracks right in this next Xel'Naga Watchtower to at least give him some additional sight at this stage in the game. Perhaps he didn't want to overlap. No, he would be able to activate that Xel'Naga Watchtower without that probe being able to see him. So, not quite sure why the barracks, he's building that barracks currently in that position. Back over here, we have a Ghost now being produced along with a reactor on this barracks. So it's going to be Ghost and Marauders with a lot of Marines as well. Stimpack research just getting started. So Stimpack, obviously the choice if you're going to be teching up some more Marines as well. Stalker coming in, gonna go ahead and activate that Xel'Naga Watchtower. Does he see that barracks? No, he does not see that barracks. Does see an SCV though, so that's the reasoning for that position. Now gonna go ahead and try to activate that Zonaga Watchtower. Does in fact activate it, and now flying a barracks out in order to scout. Comes across this Void Ray, so Frequency now going to know about that Void Ray. Is he gonna try to land that building and perhaps do something spectacular with it? Not quite sure. Barracks already on fire, so now that barracks is building and will go ahead and just crumble into pieces. Perhaps, no, see, not quite sure how such a large building can explode over probes, and no shrapnel hits those probes. Anyways, back over here to this normal, or to Frequency's main base, we now have an engineering bay being built as well. Ghost, also the Ghost also in there, so that Ghost will be able to EMP shockwave any Protoss units, any Void Rays that try to come in. Those Void Rays only have 100 shields, so after one EMP shockwave, those Marines should be able to make short work of those Void Rays. The problem is trying to aim against a Void Ray. The thing is, if you click on a Void Ray, or if you click by a Void Ray, you will most likely miss. As if you notice, there's that little yellow line underneath that Void Ray. You need to shoot at that circle dot. So if you actually hit the Void Ray, you'd most likely miss it, because I believe that's a further radius than 2, and that's why it's so difficult to shoot your target with Ghost unless you actually click on that individual unit. We do in fact have Cloak being researched, and now a factory being put down. So with that factory being put down, that means, sorry, with the factory being put down, it means that he will be able to get some nukes. Refinery now getting focused down, and this is going to be very bad for those Marines. Those Ghosts will have a range of 6, but really, that Void Ray has a range of 7, and that's going to be an issue. Marines only have a range of 5. That Refinery needs to be repaired, and now that final Void Ray down to 72 hit points, and now that in comes that Ghost trying to perhaps snipe down that Void Ray, but that snipe ability only targets biological units. So unable to hit any of those mechanical flying units. Fairly useful, however, against the random Mutalists that may try to come across the crosshairs of a Ghost. Now Void Ray down to 38 hit points, once again being pulled back. Perhaps that Ghost should have a little bit better range of 7. I don't know, seems more appropriate if he has a sniper rifle to be able to shoot farther than a Marauder. That's a very, very dinky sniper rifle if it can only hit a range of 6. And while you have, you can throw a grenade a range of 6 as well. And in comes this Ghost now trying to get a couple of shots off. Void Ray down to 16 hit points. Do not see any... Oh, sorry. Starport now being completed, so we're going to start having some medevacs. We could also have some Vikings in order to try to counteract that Void Ray. And now both players trying to get their natural expansions. However, ZeeRax in the stronger position, already taking his natural expansion earlier. So only, 7-8 minutes into this game, and we already have control of their natural expansions. One single Stargate, and now a Templar Archive. So ZeeRax hiding his tech to the north-hand side of his base, also getting those Templar Archives, will be able to start warping in those units with full energy as soon as that Crystal upgrade has been completed. Nexus has been trying to chrono boost that one building, and that Void Ray is just spelling problems for that refinery. And for some reason, Starport producing medevacs first instead of a Viking. I think the Viking would have been a better choice, as that Void Ray is keeping this whole entire infantry army in the base this whole entire time. Yeah, so once again, that Void Ray will be able to focus down, and now in comes those Marines. Marines trying to get a couple shots off. Marines are upgraded 1-0 at this stage, so able to deal 7 damage per shot instead of 6. No weapons upgrade or infantry armor upgrade, and now we have double Ghost Academies. So double Ghost Academies can only mean nuclear launch detected. So medevac, in comes this medevac, and now in comes this Ghost, dropping a nuclear missile, and there is no observer to be seen. That is going to be interesting. I believe he's gonna miss that nuke though, since he no longer has sight to that high ground. Is he gonna miss it? Does it come in? Oh, it does come into position. Okay, so as long as you have sight early on, that's all that matters. That Ghost getting a quick 8 kills, now trying to snipe down that, or try to shoot down that last Void Ray. Void Ray unable to keep track of that Ghost. That medevac, however, was taken down, and now Factory floating in the air as units now being transferred over to the natural expansion. 2 Marines, 1 Marauder sitting in that particular bunker. We now are getting the Punisher or the concussive shells on the Marauder, so the Marauder now being will be a little bit stronger. Nexus now being built over here, so ZeeRax playing a balanced game of of what, aggression and just harassment, in addition to trying to out expand his opponent. Frequency not gonna come in with another ghost and probably gonna do another nuclear drop. So sorry, another nuclear launch. Stay tuned for part 2 of this replay between Frequency and ZeeRax here on Desert Oasis.